Hello and welcome to the channel update for October. This is where I tell you what I think is going to happen in the month, you give me your feedback, and neither of those quite happen and we reach a medium somewhere in the middle or somewhere off to the side. So, let's talk about last month and what our goals were for September and how that went forward. So, in September I said, okay, we're going to go down to 4 series because I want things to be more consistent and I want to make sure that everything goes out, and because I was feeling like I was running out of time in each week and then I wasn't getting out the content and, you know, things like that. That was kind of the general gist of last month. That was my objective. How did that go? Well, you can probably tell me, but I personally feel that went absolutely atrociously. Not the going down to 4 series, because if I was on 5 series it would have been worse. But the actual content that went out last week was not significant. I said last week again. I meant last month. Like, September was not a significant amount of content going out. It was in fact a pretty mediocre amount of content that went out, I'd say. I mean, it wasn't bad content. That much is there. It was actually okay content, the stuff that actually went out, but there were many reasons for it. There was a little bit of feeling ill, a little bit of feeling burnt out, just a little bit of general tiredness in general. It was a little bit not quite perfect. But this month, we're going to be doing that again, except we're going to make everything consistent, and that's the main objective. Now, there are a whole bunch of other things that I want to do. There's things like streaming and all that I've talked about every single channel update, but we're not going to focus on them this month. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, well, whatever. Right, let's go into what's actually going to be on the channel. And I'm going to start a little bit weirdly. I'm not going to start with the series that are in the channel, because that's how I usually do it. I'm going to start with something that's not going to be on the channel. And it's in the gaming news, you've probably heard of it. It's Telltale absolutely, like, imploding. There is no more Telltale, pretty much. And the final season of The Walking Dead is delisted from all storefronts. So it's not even a pipe dream on this one. It's gone. Goodbye that. Cannot play that, which I guess pushes Life is Strange 2 up the if I have anything extra list a little bit. So yeah, I do want to do that. I'm probably going to try and do that today because I really like Life is Strange number 1. In fact, as people have pointed out, yeah, I do hella like it. It's hella good. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. The adventures of Captain Planet were pretty good, so I'm interested to see how it all fits together. Say it's a larger universe as Life is Strange. I'm assuming that from that it's not going to be there's not going to be time travel, which is kind of Life is Strange 1's thing. Like that's its unique selling point. That's its thing that the character can do. So if you take that out of that game, how does it perform? Well, I guess you could look at Before the Storm, which is one that they did without it. I haven't played Before the Storm, which was the prequel to Life is Strange, but I guess that could potentially tell you how this is going to go. Apparently they had some other power in that. Maybe that's what they're doing with Life is Strange 2. Captain Planet didn't have any powers, and I feel like it was pretty good. Other people, not so much. But, well, I mean, I say it didn't have any powers. It had a few powers, but they weren't exactly the same level of power. Let's just put it that way. They weren't huge gameplay affecting powers, I guess would be the best way of putting that. So yeah, be interested to see how that goes. In terms of other stuff, I do want to do the CK2 DLC guide. If you haven't seen Holy Fury, like the dev diaries for that, by the way, it is looking so good. Each week I'm thinking, they can't announce anything new. It has to come out soon, because they've announced too much. I'm actually kind of worried that it might be the last ever DLC, because they put so much in it. I don't see how they could top it. It's almost a completely new game in terms of the amount they've added in, and I'm only being very slightly hyperbolic. There's like so much. It's revamping Crusades. In fact, this is almost Crusader Kings 3 in terms of what it's doing. It's like an amount of systems it's revamping. I don't know exactly what they can do to top it, but I'm excited to see if they try. Anyway, so yes, that's my little bit about Holy Fury. It looks so good. But I do want to do a DLC guide, go through all the DLC, basically say what's good, what's bad, what's worth getting, what's not worth getting. It involves a little bit of editing, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's looking good. Other things, we have the HIP install video I want to do at some point. Yeah, we'll see exactly when that goes out, but yeah, I do want to do that. I might do it at the end of the series, just so that I don't accidentally destroy the installation or something stupid like that. So, maybe, we'll see. It would also kind of fit in quite nicely. I want to try and put things out at better timings, but we'll work on that. Yeah, where was my brain going? Oh yes, and the other thing, which isn't on this list, because I haven't scheduled it in, we are actually doing recording sessions of Divinity. I know, prepare to be shocked. But we're doing it Definitive Edition, and we're restarting. It's a little bit of an interesting choice, but the reason why we're restarting is essentially momentum in the first series was lost. There is no momentum in that series. It's dead in the water. And it's pretty obvious it's dead in the water. The Definitive Edition changes so much. It fixes bugs, it changes combat, it changes how plot lines go. It's completely it's the polished version of the game. And that seems to be the one that we should play if we're going back to it. So that's there. And we want to play new classes, because the classes we were playing weren't particularly enjoyable after we tried them out a little bit. And now we're trying a different class, and we're seeing how things go. Different companions, different class. It's a new way of looking at the game. A more cohesive strategy in terms of the two of our personalities for the characters that we've chosen, so that we have a formed idea of the way that we're heading forward with it. We're doing quest lines better. It's all flowing a little bit better, and it's a lot better in general. So I would definitely check it out when it comes out. I'm also going to create like a 10-hour backlog on that series, just to hopefully take away any of the, oh, we couldn't record this week kind of stuff on that one, because it's a little bit... I don't really want to get in the same situation. I don't want to do another 40 episodes of Divinity and then run into issues. Anyway. Let's talk about the other stuff. Answering comments. I did get a month behind on comments at one point. I think I'm only 2.5 weeks behind on comments. Now I'm going to try and get through the rest of them this weekend, but we'll see. I am actually interested with comments. What I've noticed is that if I don't comment quickly, more people comment to each other, if you know what I'm saying. So if I'm not joining the conversation, more people are willing to talk to each other, which is interesting. So I'm thinking there is actually a good point to just leaving comments for a couple of days. Obviously, a month is maybe a little bit too much, but leave them for like 3 or 4 days. Let people talk to each other. See how the general consensus is. Get a bit more information occasionally on things. Yeah, it works out a little bit better. Some don't need necessarily that level of thought behind them. Like if someone says hi, you can pretty much guarantee that saying hi back is going to be fine. But, you know. Anyway, just general thoughts going out there. Anything else I was thinking of? No, apart from the fact that YouTube comments are still god-awful to go through, and that you have to scroll down through every comment chronologically to get to the last one that you haven't replied to. And if somebody replies to a comment, then you are unable to find their comment easily unless you get them all sent to your email. And if you get them all sent to your email, then it's not very easy. You have to then scroll through your email and do the same thing, and it's all... Anyway, that's just my YouTube comments round. So if somebody creates a little program, that is kind of the holy grail, I think, of a very niche program where it's just like, yeah, we're gonna get all, like, gets all the comments, then shows them in like a messenger style system. Like, that would work so much better. Maybe creates conversations for them so you can go back and forth. Maybe shows you the last really what I want is last unreplied to comment. That would seem perfect. Anyway, whatever. Right, if we're continuing up the list, we have Pathfinder Kingmaker. This is what's replacing Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic is over. We are going to play the second game at some point, but I want to do Pathfinder Kingmaker, and I want to do the Witcher Tales. I want to do that Gwent stuff, so we'll see. I'm not sure when it's going to come out, but it's going to be after Pathfinder, most likely. I could potentially, depending on how I feel Pathfinder is going, like if I think we're 80% through Pathfinder, and Darkest Dungeon finishes, I might do it in that slot, and then when Pathfinder finishes, switch to a different game there, like a non-RPG, but we'll see. I still haven't quite worked out how I want to play that, but yeah, Pathfinder is really good so far. Like, it's just high quality. It isn't fully voice acted, which is its only negative, but I would still give it a shot. It is fantastic from what I played. And I mean, the main story quest is all fully voice acted, so that's the main content. Right, Darkest Dungeon. We are actually doing what I would say is very, very good right now. We went kind of down a little bit. We lost a lot of characters, and then we've gone right up. I'm killing a boss every second episode right now. That's fantastic. That's the level of pace I want to keep up. I do know that the Darkest Dungeon itself, the only thing I know about it, minor spoilers, but it's kind of second-hand spoilers, is that once you enter the dungeon, your characters cannot leave unless, I think, you complete the dungeon. I'm not 100% sure even on that. So there's a bit of, yeah, so even though we're doing really well, if we get, like, all of our level 6 characters just die, then we are not, like, then we have to re-level all those characters back up to level 6. And that could take a long time. So that's the only thing about Darkest Dungeons. Make me think that we might not be doing as well as possible, because there's that little bit of, well, I haven't gone into the dungeon, so I don't know how difficult it is. So maybe you play it too overly cautious and things go badly, and anyway, that's part of the fun of it as well, is going in without truly knowing how things are going. I'm just going to move my cursor off the screen. Realize it's just been sitting right there doing nothing for most of this. Anyway, Crusader Kings. Yes, the things that got furthest behind. The problem was, basically, neither Crusader Kings series right now is grabbing my attention quite as much as some other things. And the reason for this is quite obvious. It's quite easy, and you can tell it from earlier in this video. There's new DLC coming out. And when that happens, you get this kind of DLC envy. You're like, well, I'm playing this, but wouldn't it be much better if I was playing the DLC, which isn't out yet? You get that kind of, I don't know if anyone else gets that with kind of Paradox games, where you're just thinking, they're adding in so many great new features. I want to be playing that. I don't know. Anyway, they're both doing fine. I think the Audacious Altmer kind of fell into the same pitfall that the Cassell series has fallen into, where it was a little bit slow, but I'm trying to push itself out of that. I think that's because we're playing a character that doesn't die very often, because we're playing elves. But the problem with playing elves and not dying a lot is that's the main mechanic of Crusader Kings. You die, and then the next person takes over, and so on and so forth. If you don't die, the next person's not going to take over. And then you think, okay, well, that gives me a lot of time to do intrigue and to get favors and things. But most of what you can do with favors and intrigue is get your next character a better position, or get rid of their character for their next one, and like get claims and things swapping around. But that doesn't happen if there are no more characters. Like, that doesn't happen when you're playing an elf, because everyone lives so long. It's kind of that issue. But anyway, I think we have a better idea of where the series is going now. We've pushed ourselves beyond count level. It's all going fantastically. Historic Immersion Project, I have said in the series itself, is going to end when the new DLC comes out. So we've kind of completed our objective for that series. We're basically just we're painting the map, basically, at this point. So whenever we get the new DLC coming out, I'll do an ending episode, say, this is it, line under it, let's go, Holy Fury. Now, my plan for Holy Fury is that I'm going to do 2 series. That's my current plan. So it probably means Audacious Altmer is also going to end roughly around the time. Might try 3 series temporarily, but I want to do 2 because as I said, they're adding in so much. And, well, I want to play a Crusader, because there's a whole bunch of stuff to do with Crusaders and stuff. So my current thought for that is I'm going to play England. Would be my, like, something like the 1066 start, Crusades start, playing as England, doing Crusades. Maybe not going for conquering so much. Maybe keeping conquering limited. Going more for wars of, like, I don't know. Maybe trying to play more of a, I don't know the best way of putting it, but play more of a small nation, but going for things like embargo wars, crusades, getting our dynasty ahead in different places. Maybe more the puppet master than the like large hammer kind of form of diplomacy, where we go, okay, I'm gonna make other people who are related to me do well, and then that will help us out, or make people I like do better, and then that sort of thing. That's the way I want to play that series. And then the other one, I'm wanting to do one of these create your own religion series, where we take some kind of pagan group, probably up north somewhere. So that's probably going to be the the Livonia, is that the name of it? Yeah, I'm trying to think of the right bit on the map. Or Lithuania kind of area, like over that far east on the map. I'm trying to think, like not quite as far east as Russ, but a little bit in the middle. Anyway. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, and then we'll create our little society in there and yeah, see where that one goes. That one's going to be more of a conquering, warlike kind of thing, probably. So that's my current thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. None of that's really confirmed yet. I haven't even seen the patch notes or anything yet, so I'm not entirely sure. Like, I've seen the dev diaries, I know what they're adding, but how does that actually affect the game? Who knows? Anyway, that's the channel update. 15 minutes. Fairly short, actually, for a channel update here. If you have anything to add, please let me know. I'm, open to suggestions. I don't know what's going to replace Darkest Dungeon, I guess would be the biggest suggestion right now. I have some ideas. I have things that could replace Darkest Dungeon. It could end up being The Witcher Tales, the Gwent game, whatever it's called. I think it is called Witcher Tales. But, yeah, I don't know. That could end up being what places Darkest Dungeon, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be awfully long if it's just playing Gwent. Or if it is just playing Gwent, it's probably going to be gated by how good you are at Gwent. I would imagine, from the sounds of it, it's going to be a little bit longer than, like, the Hearthstone adventures, but not super long. So, who knows? I did hear something about a 30-hour one, but I think that's maybe a little exaggerating. I don't know. Maybe it is going to be 30 hours of Gwent, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, but still, even if it's only 30 hours of Gwent, when what we're talking is like maybe a month's worth of videos, which still means I'm going to need to find someone to replace it after that. That's still fairly short, so yeah, don't know. Could play some XCOM or something. Could play a city builder. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Something could come out in the meantime, but if you have any suggestions, let me know and we'll see. And we could potentially play them on this stream that I keep thinking about doing and then never actually do. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.